Hi guys, I recently read a book on why democracies die, written by two Harvard professors, and they discuss how in ancient times you had a democracy that was formed, and essentially authoritarian rulers would come in, conquer, and take over that territory. So you had these foreign barbarians or invaders that would come in, they would change the laws and oppress the people. Then you have a majority of democracies toppled by coups. So there's a military leader or some high official who feels like they're being treated unfairly or that the people are being treated unfairly by the democracy, and they come in, topple it, and take over. But in more recent years, looking from like the 1940s to present, we can look at things like Hitler and Mussolini, specifically people who were elected, and they were elected through the proper channels, and then they got into power, and then they started to change laws and policies that would benefit them. For example, they would halt additional elections so that they couldn't be thrown out of office, or they would start changing the constitutions of which they were supposed to abide by. So, in discussion of all this, they talk about gatekeepers, and gatekeepers essentially in America would be our Republican and Democratic parties. So the Republican and Democratic parties are there to vet the future presidents that they run for election. So they select the people to run, and then the Americans get to vote and feel as though that they have a choice. But in reality, it's not much of a choice. And the reason that they do this and why they're called the gatekeepers is because they can't trust the American people to elect decent representatives. And what I mean by that is that they essentially think that the American people, or people in general, will not elect the best leader for the country. Unfortunately, they usually elect the best liar. So they have these gatekeepings to keep these politicians from running. Um, Signs of politicians who could be corrupt or evil and become authoritarian and take power usually talk about things like the media being corrupted, how the government is currently being hijacked, and that when they are established as a leader, they will be a leader for the people. And a lot of people like this. They hear this discourse, and you have the mob rule who essentially elects and votes for them. So our government is essentially trying to suppress this by only giving us a certain amount of choices or options to elect. So that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and give me a like and subscribe. Thank you.